DJ and Fel here for you on Rise and Shine. We're very, very privileged here to have coming in over the Zoom line Mr. Jason Gray himself. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. It's evening over here, but I'm going to play along with you guys. So.
Thank you. That's super kind.
Now, where do we find you? Where are we zooming into?
I'm zooming in from Nashville, Tennessee. I almost, you know what? I almost want to say I'm zooming in from your mom's house. But I don't know this show enough. I don't know these people. I shouldn't do that anyway. But it was right there. It was
Too easy.
Take it.
We love the fact that we got you on the line. Now I got to touch base with two things right here. I'm a 1972 vintage.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. I'm 18th of March.
Oh.
Okay.
I think you're 2 months before me off the factory line.
And you're 18th.
There we go.
You're elder. He's your elder than DJ, so we'll be very respectful.
I'm respectful of my elder, my 2-month elder in the place here.
That's why I was at your mom's, because we had the same mom.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad.
I was trying to tie that together.
No, you did well. That's very good.
Well, the other way to touch base is I'm the resident Christian music nerd, and I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s in Australia, there was a guy who was selling. He was an independent record store. He would order the stuff that you couldn't find in the store, and I remember reading in some random magazine somewhere about this great new artist named Jason Gray, and I'm trying to remember the name of the album. It was an independent album that you released before All the Lovely Losers. I think it had some of the same songs on it.
It would have been called The Better Part of Me.
Yes,
was the name of the
that was it. Somehow I got it into Australia. It might be the only living. It is long gone into the dust of the wind. Who knows where it is now? But I've been a fan and following your career back from the days. And love to see where you are now, and loving the new. Are we calling it an EP or an album because it's got 9 songs on it?
Well, so I've been releasing a couple new songs every 6 weeks, and until the full album was released, which is I don't know if there's a different release date in Australia, but the complete album releases next week here. So
that is exciting.
There are 3 more songs to come.
Okay.
So, and I don't know. I think they might be the best songs on the record too. I'm very proud of these last 3, and I don't know if anyone else is going to be into them, but
I'm sure they will.
Well, going through the state of the album that we've got at the moment.
Well, look, and I loved the titles, Jason. One of them grabbed my attention. It's Jesus Loves You and I'm Trying. Is that because you've got teenagers in the house, or where does that come from?
Yeah, it comes from I really want my life to be marked by love. I want to love people well, and it's just that they can be so annoying sometimes, right? Am I right? You know what I'm talking about, So
you're keeping it real
about that. So Jesus loves you, and I'm trying. So that's where that.
Your honesty in music, I love it.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Now you've worked with everybody and their dog. Through in your long career here, you've toured with everyone. We've actually got Jeremy Camp over here in Australia at the moment. I know you've toured with him. On this, in a few weeks we get the full length album from you, the latest full length album. Is there any features, people that you've worked with on this new one that we need to know about?
Ellie Holcomb is on a song called Hold On to Hope.
Ooh.
And she wrote that one with me. Ellie Holcomb is amazing.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite artists, favorite human beings, favorite voices. So she's on there. And a new artist named Natalie Lane. I have a speech handicap. If your listeners are wondering why I was breaking into a na-na-na song all of a sudden. Natalie Lane. There, I got it out. Natalie. She sings on a song as well. I'm trying to think, is it if there's any others, but I didn't do any like specific features. We talked about it, and I don't know why that. Well, one of the reasons why it didn't happen is because my record label is like, oh, features are a headache. Like all the paper. We don't know. So that was the main reason why.
I love it.
But they're on the track.
You mentioned there, Jason, a speech impediment, and I know there's so many famous people who have overcome adversity, and singing is one of those things, isn't it? When people have a challenge, often it doesn't reflect through in song. Can you tell us a bit about that journey for yourself?
That's weird, right? I can sing, but I can't speak. You know, I mean, like when I realized I could just sing everything and it wouldn't happen, but I thought that might be more awkward than the actual speech handicap. So
I would sing an interview. I think bring it on.
We would be totally up for a singing interview 100%. One day if you're ever open to that.
Oh, yeah. All right. Very early on, as I began to be aware of a calling on my life, I used to argue with God about it. You know, my speech issue was a lot worse than it is now, and I used to argue with him about it, saying, "You can't make me your spokesperson until you make it so I can speak."
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but when you tell God that He can't do something, it's kind of like a dare that He can't resist. So, hey, everybody, I do what I do because I lost a dare with the Almighty. But it became a good teacher in my life very early on. I remember at first I thought, okay, I can see how this is going to go. If I step out in faith and do this thing, you're going to make it go away.
And that'll be
my testimony, right? That if you trust God and step out in faith, He will make your paths and your speech straight, right? Yeah. Okay, great. I'm in, and that began a number of years of me trying to believe hard enough and to be good enough to get God to give me this that I increasingly was feeling like He was holding out, like just out of my reach. And I remember getting angry with Him about it. Like, okay, I'm doing my part. I'm showing up. I'm stepping out, and you're not meeting me there. What do you want? This isn't a good look for you either, So what do you want? And but I continued doing what I was doing, even though I was frustrated and angry and confused, and discouraged. I was playing a show at a coffee shop, and I stuttered so horribly that night that I was just embarrassed. I just wanted to go hide, but there was no place to hide because there was just the stage and the coffee.
Yeah,
right? And so I'm packing up my gear, and I noticed that a line of people has formed to speak with me, and I turn around, I'm speaking with them. My face is hot just because I feel humiliated still, And then one after the other, I hear variations of the same story, right? Them thanking me for doing what I did that night, because it reminded them that they aren't defined by their weakness either.
Wow.
I remember going home that night and thinking, I noticed that it wasn't my songs or things I spoke that ministered to people as much as it was just that I was a broken, imperfect human being, and I showed up and I did it anyway. And somehow the Lord ministered His grace through that, right? And I remember realizing, maybe I had it wrong. Maybe it's not that you want to heal me of my speech impediment, but maybe you want to bring healing to others through it. And that was the beginning of my understanding of operating as a wounded healer in the world, just yeah.
That's powerful.
So
that's powerful. We're running out of time. A question I'm dying to ask.
as I stutter, it takes me too long to get words.
No, it's beautiful.
No, not at all. Jason, you've been around long enough now to be, like a bit of a veteran in the industry. I know that feels scary at our age, but, you're seeing, what you've seen in the industry. I want to get your honest take of where you feel Christian music is at today. Is it better now than it was when you started in the 90s? Do you feel like it's on a better, trajectory? Is it worse? Is it, different? What's the Jason Gray take here?
Oh boy. First of all, what do I know? And older people, like always, have a gripe about whatever the new thing is, and I have to believe that God is in control. I guess some of the things I see that concern me a bit. I'm a bit suspicious of or wary of the emphasis on worship music. I'm not sure how it is there, but like a few of the big stations here in the States that were like rock stations have switched over to worship music. And what concerns me about that is that when the rock stations go away, I think that there's no longer a place for bands like Switchfoot or Breathe to thrive. And I think those two bands in particular exemplify a robust truth-telling in Christian music, right?
Yeah.
And worship music, I think it's fine. I think it has its place. It's for my taste, it's not confronting me enough with new transformative ideas. It's something that is easy for me to sing along with because I already kind of agree with it, but it's not prophetic necessarily, Ooh. So I'm not knocking worship music, but I think it's so easy to love it that we're no longer creating space for these other kinds of telling to exist.
All right, that's on the okay. So let's put that on the negative side of the coin. We'll leave it with this one. On the positive side of the coin, who are the artists and bands now that are coming out, the new ones that you think they are doing the right thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's in some ways because of how easy recording is now, because you can record on your laptop and you can upload your own, So there's a lot of newer artists who are releasing very exciting faith-based music that I think would otherwise have a hard time finding a home on Christian radio. Do you remember in the 90s we had groups like the Lost Dogs and Adam again?
Yes.
Remember that?
The Choir. Yes. Yep.
Those were compelling, creative, very, very truthful artists and bands, right?
Yeah.
And then I think we went through a season where there wasn't space, there wasn't a lane for them in our genre anymore, and all that kind of went away.
Yeah.
And everything kind of became more mainstream, middle of the road pop. But I wonder if we're entering into an era where that kind of music will find a place to live again, because so that's I'm hoping.
As they say,
We'll see.
from your lips, Jason, to God's ears, may that happen. May that happen here. Listen, we've got to jump out and let our people come back, new people come back in. But one
We've
last
just
thing.
got one last question for you, Jason. Next week we have Visionathon here. That's where we fundraise so that we can go into next year strong, and we're expanding and growing. And one of the questions I'd love to ask you is, we've been collecting memories about Christian radio and what it means.
Yeah.
And we thought we'd ask you, what is Christian radio? What are your memories of Christian radio?
Okay. May I speak to the person who may give to you guys? Is that okay?
Go for it.
Yeah. So I would say that like when I became a believer, I discovered Christian radio, and it discipled me, and I was a lonely kid in this abusive household, but I had a desire for God in my heart, a dream to make music for Him, and Christian radio was there for me to lay the tracks for my growth and my dreaming and stuff, and so to anyone who's considering giving, I would say, as you give, maybe it's helpful to think that you aren't only giving to a radio station, but you are giving to a kid like me who, when he needed hope and guidance, he found it on the radio dial.
Oh, love
Jason.
it. Jason, thank you so much for your time. We love your music. We love your ministry, and we cannot wait for the full-length Place For Me album to be out. But thank you so much for your time this morning, man.